The Basic Education Minister, Siviwe Gwagube, says the department is committed to ensuring that it regulates the release of matric results in a way that protects learners' privacy. And this is after the Pretoria High Court ruled in favour of the department in its plan to continue with the publication of the 2024 matric results in newspapers. So the matter was brought to the courts by the information regulator. The regulator believes the 2024 results should not be for public consumption because it violates the rights of learners. Well, let's talk about this, as I say, with the learners themselves, and we'll also have Professor of Practice at the University of Johannesburg School of Public Management, Governance and Public Policy, Mary Metcalf. And I've got Mbali Lubisi from Bedfordview High School and Lehlohonolo Moagi from Lambano Academy, who are waiting for their matric results. I think it's only appropriate. By the way, welcome everyone. It's lovely to have you all. Thank you for putting on your uniform again. I didn't think you were going to have a usable uniform to wear because I know what you guys do on the last day of school.
We just threw it away. We donate.
Yeah, or you donate. Mbali, well, actually the both of you, Mbali, Lehlohonolo, just talk to me about how you're feeling in this moment, though, in anticipation of the results.
It's a very overwhelming experience. I feel very anxious at the moment, but I know that everything will work out.
Lehlohonolo?
I feel very overwhelmed, but I've put in the work, man, and I've put everything in God's hands. So I'll just have to believe that I did well.
All right, so let's come to the crux of the issue. And for me, it was interesting. Did you guys watch the judgment delivered yesterday? Were you able to see it?
Yes.
So one of the things that stood out for me was the judge saying, in this application, where are the matrics themselves? I mean, I'm paraphrasing what she said. Where's the voice of the learners? If we're advocating on your behalf, what did you have to say about all of this? So I'd love your thoughts, and Lehlohonolo, maybe we start with you, on when you heard that the information regulator was going to be interdicting the Department of Education to not publish the results. Now they are going to publish the results as they've done before. It will just be your matric numbers and it won't be your names necessarily, and they're saying this is not going to compromise your privacy. How do you feel?
I think it's better if they're only publishing our matric numbers and not our identifications, because honestly the matric results are published to not only our families and people, it's to everyone can see it, everyone has access to everything on the newspapers. So I feel okay that it's only our matric numbers and not our identifications, honestly.
Mbali?
I feel I'm very neutral about it because it does not actually violate our privacy because it's our examination numbers. No one really knows it like that besides you. So I feel it doesn't at all.
So when you saw the matter develop in the way that it did, I mean, what did you think? I mean, just high level.
So I thought of the children that could not access them, that don't have access to internet. So we should think about those children instead of us having to compromise them. Because using a newspaper, it's easily accessible to everyone.
Do you feel the same?
Yeah, definitely.
Prof. Metcalf, let me bring you in here. And, you know, we've been talking for years and years. You understand the space backwards and forwards. After you heard that judgment yesterday, you can give us a sense of your retrospective view on how it actually landed in court to the point where that judgment was issued.
Thank you very much. And thank you for bringing in those two students because their perspectives are so insightful and I think help everyone to understand this better. So what the judge was very clear about is that this is a matter that is complex. It cannot be adjudicated at this late stage, 2 days before the publication of results, and it needs to be thoroughly aired. So there has been a long process of debate. Firstly, about the merits of publishing the matric results, the NSC results. And my understanding historically is that COSAS as an organization many years ago protested about the use of names. That meant that that was considered quite carefully between the information regulator and the DBE. And there was made in 2022 saying that they should not be publishing names. And then it seems to me that there has not been sufficient debate and discussion, because last year the information regulator issued an infringement notice against the DBE saying you are not complying with not publishing any identifiers as to a person. Now, an exam number is an identifier to a person, but who would know that exam number? Now, COSAS has a point that students sit in the exam hall numerically. So if you know your number, you know the number of those around. Now, the DBE, I think, has offered, good leadership. The minister saying we need to make sure that we are fully compliant, and the department also saying we need the court case to help us next year, a court case that really spells out the issues, because I'm sure for many people we're persuaded that the exam number is sufficiently private. But where I think things went wrong is that between November of last year and the publication of the results next Tuesday, there has not been enough time to thrash this out, nor sufficient conversation and mediation between the department and the regulator. So it seems to me the department is going to publish, they will receive another fine, that will be paid from the public purse, but we need to bring down the temperature and find a sensible solution next year.
I want to come to the nature of what that fine would be, and when you say that we need to thrash out these matters and further conversations need to be held because it is complex, I want to know what that is all about. Because as you say, Judge Tolme yesterday stressed that this wasn't about dealing with the merits of the application, but only the issue of urgency. And that the IR's, the information regulators' urgency in rushing to court was a self-created one, and we saw the penalty that they faced there. I think what was interesting for me also was just looking at the tonality between the DBE and the IR. It didn't seem acrimonious. It just seemed like we're sitting with a bit of an issue where we need legal clarity, and everyone's moving on what they think that clarity is. So let's talk then, or you may respond to that, Mary, if you want.
Yes, the only other issue that I think has puzzled me is the DBE says it's appealed according to the POPIA Act, and the information regulator says they haven't received an appeal. So that's again part of the kind of messiness that must be tidied up in the process going forward.
So, ostensibly, Mary, we've got a year to fix all of this before we're faced with the same challenge again next year. I'm just saying, before we decide, okay, are we going to publish or go the digital route? But, okay, talk to us about what you think are the steps that should be enacted between now and next year.
Okay, I would say, I shook my head, excuse me for that, because we don't have a year. If there is going to be, for example, when you register for exams, when you register for exam, you can tick a box that says, I consent to my examination number being published with my results in 2026. If that is the resolution, so that any student, so of your two students, I think both of them gave me the impression they would be happy with that. That would mean that there has to be agreement about that before students register for the NSC. Now, Mbali and Lehlohonolo can remind me about when students register. I would say it's definitely by about April.
Yeah.
So we would need clarity before April. If, again, there's a long delay and not a proper conversation, we'll be in the same crisis, because I think it was the second student who spoke who said she was thinking about those students who cannot access the school, who do not have SMSs, and that must be our primary concern. How do we make sure that all students at this level, this day of great anxiety. And Mbali spoke about that so well.
Yeah.
It's a hugely anxious time. We have to make sure that they can get the results, know where they stand as urgently as possible. The parties must talk to each other urgently.
It is about inclusivity, ultimately. I want to give the two of you a very quick final word. Of course, I wish you so much luck for next week. I hope you're going to be doing it in a space that's loving and that holds you. And as you say, you've prepared, so hopefully things are going to be great. So again, you talked about inclusivity, and you talked about the fact that you don't feel exposed if it's just your examination number. How do you think, in going forward, adults who are making decisions on your behalf should include your voice?
They should, I think they should consent us. Like they should maybe put a petition as us matriculants, maybe if we decide whether we want our results to be published or not.
And get a consensus from you, yeah.
I think we should be involved in decision making. They shouldn't like have the final word. They should inform us so we can either agree or disagree.
Do any of you know when you have to register, to Mary's point? When did you do it last year? Can't remember. All right, Mary, we leave it there for now. And thanks as always for your time. Really do appreciate you. Mbali Lubisi and Lehlohonolo Moagi, thank you very much. Good luck to you and your families. Lots of love.